ago today, American troops, among others, stormed the beaches of Normandy, France to fight against Nazi Germany in the largest seaborne invasion ever.
Their sacrifice is being honored worldwide, including here in the Twin Ports. Earlier today, the Richard I. Bong Veterans Historical Center in Superior held a ceremony to remember D-Day. Members of the Bong American Legion Post 435 Honor Guard raised the American flag for those who served that day. The museum itself features exhibits that highlight the contributions and experiences of veterans from various conflicts in history. But members of Post 435 say the events on D-Day were so vital in the turn of World War II. Without the sacrifices made that day, things would have been much different today.
It's so important to remember our history and the supreme sacrifices that our military have made throughout the ages. Without that sacrifice, we wouldn't be standing here today talking.
And the Legion actually raises the American flag every Friday at the Bong Center to continue to honor veterans in everyday life. The ceremony also came with an announcement from the Bong Center. The museum is now part of the Blue Star Museum's program. That means starting today, the Bong Center will offer free admission to active duty military members and their families from Armed Forces Day in May through Labor Day in September.